I brought this back from Mum's yesterday. I found it in her sitting room because it's the only proper album she's got. Everything else got chucked out. And it's rather good because it really tells the story of her life.
But where do we begin?
Well, perhaps when she was born?
Yeah, I think we should start there.
So she was born over 90 years ago, as we know, on the 30th of September, to Winifred and William Ball in New Malden. And sadly, I think this is one reason why there are so few photographs of her. They desperately wanted a boy. She had an elder sister, Phyllis, and they wanted a boy. So this was the first I could find, and she's obviously just a little girl here. Anyway, she did grow up to be a very attractive woman. She was petite, she was very glamorous, and she had a great dress sense. She didn't have much of an education because the war was on. She was evacuated to Torquay with her brother and sister. So with Phyllis, her elder sister, and Dennis, her younger brother, they were down there for at least a year before they begged to come home because they were so homesick. Dennis has a memory of them when they were down in Torquay, and apparently they all shared a room together, and they'd have a competition at night to see who could name the most Strauss waltzes.
Oh, a competition.
Yes,
of course. She was very competitive.
Very competitive, and that must be why we were subjected to the waltz from Vienna, the concert from Vienna.
Every New Year's
Day. Yeah. So she was very glamorous.
Incredibly glamorous.
Yeah.
Absolutely. She thought that she was a film star, and that's what the way she lived her early life, and what probably attracted my dad.
Yes, well, you know, they met at a dance at Surbiton Assembly. She got a job in gowns, which was very fitting. The most expensive attire, nothing that my mother could ever afford. And I think she used to borrow things out of the shop and take it back the next day sometimes.
Oh, absolutely, yes.
Yeah. In those days, she wasn't just a sales assistant selling gowns. It was considered a proper career. So she had to go through a proper had to go through all the departments, and she loved to tell the story when they sent her up to the
down.
Where no
it
light.
Was down in the cellar.
Down in the cellar,
where they made the hats, and they used to mend and sew. Well, what did Mum absolutely hate doing?
Sewing.
Yes.
Sewing.
She hated sewing, knitting. In fact, all the things that women were supposed to excel in, she didn't.
Yeah.
I think she just refused to.
Well, in fact, so much so, I think they decided that she wasn't any good at that, so they took her out of that department.
She was hopeless.
And you know what?
But they liked her, didn't they?
They loved my mum.
They wanted to keep her.
Yeah. So she married Ronald James Campbell when she was 23. Mum's first years of her married life, they had to live with his mother, who ran a boarding house, and she had to be there with the lodgers. And when she was pregnant with me, she was such a fussy eater.
She hated the cooking.
She hated it. Nana Campbell made her eat, and she couldn't stand it. I was born when she was living with his parents, which was really tough on Mum.
Yeah.
All right, so roll on the years. So I'm the eldest.
Yes, don't we know?
And so there's photographs of you and I when we were kids, babies. There's you in your pram, and there's me, and you and I again. And this is us when we've grown up a little bit, and with Dad. Do you remember you desperately wanted a hamster?
I did.
And Dad said it wasn't a good idea, but Mum said that we should each have a hamster because that's what we wanted. This is a really good photograph because we've got Grandpa, we've got Nana Ball, so her parents, Dennis, so her brother got married for a second time to Sidell. And here's little Ali. Mum was really fond of Ali because she was Dennis's daughter by his first wife. She was a bit of a waif and stray when she was little, and Mum used to love having her at weekends and feeding her up. Although there's a story because Ali had the most beautiful long hair. Do you remember?
Oh,
I was so envious of her hair. And And Mum decided it was too long and straggly and cut it off. Do you remember?
Oh, I do.
Yeah. And Dennis's first wife wouldn't talk to Mum for ages after that. Anyway, and there's Phyllis,
Yes.
her eldest sister. And there's Mark, Phyllis's only son. So that's
Grandpa
a family
Ball.
gathering. Grandpa
And
Ball.
look at Mum's mum, doesn't she look?
Yeah, she was a very smart lady.
Very smart, very
Yeah.
dignified.
Yeah. And the holidays. So Mum and Dad did some amazing holidays together, actually, and they really had a good time. They couldn't really have a holiday abroad with us as a family because you weren't allowed to go abroad in those days. They said
No, they said I'd die if I went on an airplane.
So we had some nice family holidays in the UK, and then Mum and Dad would escape every now and again. This is in Lanzarote. I love that photograph.
I think that's epic. That's such a good photo.
With a camel.
And then Graham came into our lives.
So Graham was a haemophiliac, so it wasn't easy for him to get a job in those days. So Dad decided to take him under his wing, and he worked with Dad.
And he was a really good heating engineer.
He was a good heating engineer. So there's Graham, and then things got really tough because Dad was killed in a car crash just before you were due to get married to Graham.
It wasn't a good time in our lives.
Yes, Mum was only 56. Dad had been a very, very strong influence on her life, and he did everything. And she didn't even know how to sign a cheque. I don't think she'd been totally overshadowed by him.
Yeah.
But you got married, so we had to pull together and join forces and make it a very happy occasion.
And look, Sarah, look at the pride in her face.
I know. I love that photograph.
It's the most, for me, it's my most treasured photo.
Yeah. So, and with that, of course, came Mum's holiday adventures every year with me, because you went off on honeymoon. Dad had already decided that we were going to go sailing on into what was Yugoslavia in those days, around the islands. He was dead, and so I said, come on, Mum, we're going anyway. So we went off to Korčula, a beautiful island. And that set the precedence for all the holidays we've had every year ever since.
She always says to me, she says, well, Sharon takes me on these amazing holidays. And she said, and lucky for me, you decided to have a big career. And I've been to all these amazing places with you as a member of the House of Lords, as somebody who got a DBE. So she had the best of both worlds.
Oh yeah, she was incredibly proud of you and of me. We have very, very different career paths and very successful, both of us. So, but
we were never treated any differently.
No, we weren't.
So however many achievements we had, she would always be very down to earth. And then when we go out to dinner on a Sunday, because that's what we always did, if Sharon and I argued, which we enjoy doing, she'd go, girls, that dinner, I won't have you together if you continue like this. So she was always strict.
Yeah, she was very strict. But you know, I think the success of my career, and yours too, was a lot down to her incredible judge of human character.
Oh, God, yes.
She could suss somebody out so quickly.
Well, for me, it was her determination. And she always looked at how things could be improved. So she said, well, how can you make things better? And stop feeling sorry for yourself. So
get on with it.
You just get on with it.
Get on with it.
And that served me incredibly well throughout my life.
Yeah. So, besides Mum, she loved the outdoors. She loved walking. She always loved going places, seeing things. So
look at that one.
That's one of my favourite shots. That's down in Norfolk,
Brilliant.
I think, when we went to stay with Penn and Jamie. And so then, really, I did the holidays, the adventures, and
I did the awards.
You did the awards. So we've got pictures here: Jane Campbell, OBE, DBE,
Introduction into the House of
Lords, and actually in between there, that was quite a sad thing because Mum was really careful about her appearance, and sadly she got Bell's palsy
around that time, I think.
Around that time, and it left her. In fact, they didn't think she'd recover as well as she did because of her age at the time. but it left her
Oh,
with a
it's so
crooked
sad.
smile, and she just hated having her photograph taken.
She
of
did
her,
after that.
which is sad. So we always tried to encourage her, but that was tough on her. Mum had a lot to deal with. First of all, you know, we didn't know that you had a disability when you were born because you looked like a normal baby. I remember her being so upset when she used to take you to play. A friend who lived in the same road as us at the time, her daughter was the same age as you, and she was devastated when your friend ran upstairs with
With
the
her friends, yes.
and you couldn't follow, so you were left downstairs with Mum. It's really sad, really sad. So Mum didn't have it easy, and then of course she
But
lost.
whatever life threw at her, I don't know how she did it. She just gathered herself up and said, okay, right, that's done. Let's move on. Come on.
And you know what? I think that's why she was such a brilliant friend to
Yes.
all of her neighbours, everyone she met. She really cared about them, and she gave them a lot of love, and yeah, they felt good around her. And you know, Jane, I think terrible shock to lose Mum so dramatically with a fall, but you know,
Independence was my mother. She was fiercely determined to keep her independence to the end.
And she died on the 4th of July, Independence Day. It says it all.
I'm sure she did it on purpose. She planned it.
So, sis, that's the story of Mum's life.
This is your life, Jessie Campbell. A life
Well lived.